Hello, everyone. Welcome back, and thank you for tuning into the China Biographical Database's tutorial video series. Last week, we talked about how to use the form query by method of entry into government, and today I will be showing you how to use the form query by associations. So first and foremost, what is an association, or 社会关系? So associations are different ways people are connected to one another, or types of relationships people have with one another. So if you have person A and person B, they have some kind of interaction with each other that links them. The association is how they interacted. So some examples are A is friend of B, A received an official letter from B, or A emulated the calligraphy of B. So that is which in quotation marks is the association. Friend of received an official letter from or emulated the calligraphy of. These are examples of different associations that are available to you in the China Biographical Database, which we will see a little bit later. So why use the form query associations? I think this is best understood by looking at similar query forms that are similar to query associations, but a little bit different. So first and foremost, query associations is interested in the specific association you choose between any two people. Therefore, it will find all pairs of people with your association. So for example, if I am looking at the friendship association using the friend of category of associations, then I will be looking for any people who were friends at a specific time or place of your choosing. This is different than query by social networks and query by pairwise association. So in query by social networks, which we had seen in the first video in the tutorial video series, the goal is to find people associated with a pair or group of individuals of your choosing. Therefore, it will find all people with all different types of associations with the pair or group of individuals that you chose. So for example, in the first video, we looked at the social networks between Sima Guang and Wang Anshi. So the difference between this specific query and query associations is that in query by social networks, we actually start with two different people or two groups of people. And then we want to find all people who are in between those and connected to those two starting groups of people through various types of association. And query by pairwise association is very similar. However, in query by associations, we do not start off with two people or any people at all. We start off with the association. And then we are looking for any people, no matter who they are connected to, with that specific association. So in using the form query by associations, it is very relatively easy to use, and it's actually not very common to use solely this form to answer a research question because very rarely do you actually desire to find all people with a specific association. However, you can use it as one step in answering your research question, which I will demonstrate in a later video, or you can use it to try to get a better sense of a broad landscape at a certain time or place. So today we will do the latter with the goal of getting a better sense of the political landscape during the Qing dynasty by looking at opposing forces at that time. So, like always, we will open up our form. This should be very familiar to you. And we will open up the query associations form. So in the query association form, we first, on the top left, will have our select association button. This will be your first step. So in the different categories of associations, there are over 400 associations to choose from, which are grouped into the following categories. And each of the categories have subtopics. So for example, in writings, you can look specifically at biographical texts, mottos, correspondences, etc. For us today, we want to look at the political landscape. So we're going to go to politics. And under politics, there is a subcategory called oppositional political associations. So as you can see, there are many different types of oppositional political associations. If you are specifically interested in one or a few of them, say you're interested by impeachment occurrences, you can choose these two and click select. However, today I'm interested in all types of opposition. So I'm going to choose the select all button, and then I'm going to choose select. Great, so now our associations are in our association box here. And now the second step is to make our restrictions. So the main restrictions that you can make in query associations is time and place. So today we're only going to deal with time. So first we will look at our time box. So our time box tells us how we can restrict by time. So we can choose no dates, that is no restriction on time. We can use index years. So index years, again, are similar to birth years. They're estimated birth years. The one pitfall of using index years is that people for whom CBDB does not have an index year for, they will simply just disappear from the results. Now you can remedy this by choosing no dates. And then once you have run your query, you can use the filter button under index years. And you can filter by specific years that you want to look at. I will show this after we run the query. But today I want to look at specifically the Qing dynasty. So I will use dynasties. So first I'm going to choose the dynasty that we want to start looking at, which is the Qing dynasty. Find the Qing and then select. And then today I only want to look at the Qing dynasty, so I will choose the Qing dynasty again. However, you are free to choose any period of time that you are interested in. As I said, today we will not choose the places. However, again, if you want to restrict by place, which is very similar to the query by methods of entry into government, you will go to the select place button. And remember to just take a note that different places have different dates, of course. And so just make sure that your date matches with the time restriction that you have set already. Yes. And just a note, say I chose a place, but I actually realize I want a different place or I want to choose no places, I can clear my place by choosing all places. And that will go back to no place restrictions. So great, we have our oppositional political associations and we have our time restriction and we want to look at all places. So I'm going to run the query. And we get two tabs of information that will be of use to you. So the first tab, it looks at the association. So you have the associates, the first person A and person B. And then you also have the type of association. So the way in which you would read this is that the first person, in this case, is 魏相书, impeached, 宋德宜. And then your second tab will have all people in the associations tab without their associate being in the same row. So this just returns all different types of people that you have in this tab right here. And so, like I said before, that if you do restrict by index years, people without index years will not be returned. So I did not choose that because there are many people who do not have index years. But if you do want to look at specific times, then I can go to filter. And so I can either sort from greatest to least or least to greatest. So this organizes the different index years that we do have and leaves all those without an index year at bottom. Or say I'm looking at a specific time period, I can filter using numbers. So say I want to look specifically at maybe 1770 to 1830. I can filter out all those who have index years between that time period without actually ignoring um, those who do not have index years. Great. So this is how to use query associations for the China Biographical Database. To save your information, you have 4 different options. You can save to these different softwares that will allow you to visualize this information. You can also select all on this spreadsheet and copy it and paste it into an Excel or whatever your data format, desired data format is. So thank you very much for joining us today. We look forward to having you back to talk about more queries.